years' development, and we won't even have to dig anymore.
Where's the fun in that?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 scientifically inaccurate movies.
Careful, Mike. Disagree with anything Dr. Barnes says, and she'll have you in city council meetings for 12 months.
For this list, we'll be looking at films that took way too many liberties in bending the laws of science. Which movie pseudoscience irks you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Moon Mishaps, Moonfall.
The moon's orbit has shifted.
I'm sorry?
Its orbital radius is decreasing.
Well, that's not possible.
The moon can't collide with Earth. Knowing this, the Moonfall consultants simply reversed the physical implications. In reality, the moon is moving away from our planet at a rate of 1.5 inches per 365 days, according to NASA. So what would happen if it moved towards us instead?
Well, NASA and I aren't really on speaking terms these days.
Well, that'll change when you tell them that the moon is out of orbit.
One thing the movie gets right is the severe rise of tides, causing flooding and, subsequently, the lack of oxygen in higher atmospheres. However, the moon would never get as close to the Earth as it does in the film. It would break apart at around 11,470 miles from Earth, due to the Roche limit, the distance at which one celestial body will disintegrate in the radius of another due to the force of gravity.
Are we dead?
No, we are just inside the moon.
That might be the greatest sentence anyone's ever said.
Number 9. Pandemic Problems, Outbreak.
We'll have the blood tested, Henry. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about.
Well, maybe you should give me gabaglobulin or something. I wouldn't want to give anything to my girlfriend.
Flowers would be nice on occasion, don't you think?
This movie suffers from what has been called awful science. Many comparisons have been made with 2011's Contagion, which was far more accurate in the eyes of science and procedure. Outbreak features a number of problems, including inaccurate laboratory practices, a lab tech fixing her hair with gloves on, not a good idea, lack of proper decontamination procedures, waltzing in and out of a quarantine at will, and so on.
We have to work together, Sam.
Are we?
Are we what?
Are we working together, sir?
The virus in the film is, incorrectly, visible through a regular microscope. It is compared to Ebola, and hence would only be detectable through an electron microscope. Oh, and the overnight vaccine seems a little improbable, doesn't it?
What's wrong? Her temperature's coming down. It's working. She's normalizing. Come here.
By the way, why would they use a South American capuchin monkey when the virus originated in Zaire? Number 8. Planetary Propulsion, The Wandering Earth.
你要去哪儿？
爸爸要执行任务，世界上最重要的任务。
The Wandering Earth's disaster consists of the sun expanding and en route to destroy the Earth in 2058. Despite presumably advanced technology, the practical thing to do would be to move the planet, right? The world's governments must come together to build 12,000 fusion-propelled engines to push the Earth out of the way. No, really.
联合政府决定将整个地球推离太阳系，飞向4.2光年外的新家园。
Oh, and in doing so, the collision of Earth with Jupiter must be avoided, as hitting Jupiter's Roche limit, remember that from the Moonfall entry, gravity fields, would have it crumble under the pressure. Well, in true action movie fashion, the space station team must sacrifice themselves to a faulty engine. The plan works, and everyone is saved. We just needed to get out and push.
帮人出去波，7分13秒之后到达地表，能否推动地球就看这一下了。
Number 7. Erroneous Eruption, Volcano.
And find me a scientist, geologist, somebody tell me what the hell is going on.
Hollywood loves to put natural disasters where they don't belong, and 1997's Volcano is no exception. A volcano spontaneously forms under Los Angeles, throwing the city into chaos and the quest to find a solution. The idea of a volcano forming out of nowhere is impossible, as formation takes millions of years, and possible volcanic zones are carefully monitored. In the film, lava is found flowing beneath the city, and panic ensues only when considering the red stuff reaching street level.
Magma can find one of those fissures and rise up through it.
What's magma?
Lava.
Lava? Here in L.A.
Again, this is an odd choice, as the lava would already have caused extensive damage underground, making the street-level damage superficial. It has been said that the only thing relevant to volcanoes that the movie got right was the presence of lava and ash.
Well, we now have a name for this crisis. It is, according to the U.S. Geological Survey,
a volcano.
Number 6. Evolutionary errors after Earth.
Do not attempt to land. Repeat, do not attempt to land.
It's not possible.
Some aspects of sci-fi are expected to maintain some accuracy, such as the realistic evolution of planet Earth and its fauna. After Earth gets this wrong according to a number of experts. In the film, a spaceship crash lands on Earth 1,000 years after it is rendered unlivable due to multiple disasters and the air becoming unbreathable. They find the climate greatly changed in the future.
This is a Class 1 quarantined planet. Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans.
However, this would not be the case, as humans are the main cause of climate change. Thus, an Earth abandoned by humans wouldn't have continued to suffer the change so rapidly. Also, plants and animals would not have evolved to live in the altered atmosphere so quickly, as on average, such evolution takes anywhere from 500,000 to 5 million years.
That sucked.
That is correct.
Number 5. Dino DNA discrepancies, Jurassic Park.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
We're all familiar with Jurassic Park. Scientists have managed to isolate dinosaur DNA and clone the beasts. It's all described in the dated 1990s cartoon in the film thanks to the intellectual talking DNA strand.
And sometimes animals that went extinct millions of years ago, like dinosaurs, left their blueprints behind for us to find.
However, in reality, the process would not be so easy. Firstly, DNA isn't so resistant to the elements and breaks down over time. The oldest found DNA so far, 30 years after the movie was released, is around 2 million years old. This is quite far from the Jurassic period, which was approximately 200 million years ago. DNA is also very fragile and easily lost if not properly handled. The way in which the DNA is extracted, the needle through the sap, would likely result in loss of the sample.
Using sophisticated techniques, they extract the preserved blood from the mosquito and, bingo, Dino DNA.
Number 4. Bogus brain claims, Lucy.
Let's imagine for a few moments what our life would be like if we could access, let's say, 20% of our brain's capacity.
Have you ever heard that we only use 10% of our brain? Well, it's completely untrue. The origin of the myth is a mystery, and we actually use most of our brains most of the time. In the movie Lucy, the 10% myth pseudoscience is the central idea. Lucy, a drug mule, has a bag of substance open in her stomach. Following this, she opens up the rest of her brain, resulting in superior physical and mental capabilities, such as the loss of pain receptors and telekinesis.
Has it been proved scientifically?
Well, for the moment, it's just hypothesis, I confess.
The problem is in the perpetuation of the myth. Director Luc Besson claimed to know of the bogus claim, but said that we do only use 15% of our neurons at a time. Unfortunately, this is untrue as well.
100 billion neurons per human, of which only 15% are activated.
Number 3. Silly science, the core.
Do this and I'll sign your doctorates blindfolded.
Blindfolded.
Blindfolded. Do not pass go directly to PhD.
The core has been scientifically criticized to the core, pun intended. The premise of the film is that a team must drill to the stagnant Earth's core to set off nuclear bombs in order to jumpstart the rotation. Should they fail, the Earth's magnetic field will collapse, exposing all to solar radiation.
I need you to confirm my results, sir. Young man, do you have any idea who I am?
Yes, I do, sir. Please read this.
What's it about?
It's the end of the world.
The film shows several electronic malfunctions as a result of the weakening field, which wouldn't actually affect electronic devices. The ship breaks through the Earth using ultrasonic waves, which, according to experts, would require so much energy that there's no way a small vessel could carry it. The plan to restart the rotation of the core is also nonsense, as there's no way to control the outcome of a nuclear explosion. We're doomed.
The core of the Earth has stopped spinning.
How could this have happened?
Number 2. Fast freeze, the day after tomorrow.
Janet Takata, this is Jack Hall. Janet's a hurricane specialist with NASA. Jack's a paleoclimatologist, and I have absolutely no idea what he's up to.
Climate change is a frequently discussed issue, and we should worry about it. The idea of abrupt climate change is something that is actually feasible, but abrupt means the time span would be decades rather than centuries. So having North America completely freeze over a couple of days is nonsense, thankfully.
If these people go outside, they will freeze to death.
Okay, what is this nonsense?
It's not nonsense.
The science behind the film isn't completely off, but the speed is. The film mentions the sudden collapse of the Atlantic meridional overturning circulations, basically deep currents in the Atlantic that transport heat affecting weather patterns. And though the flash freeze part isn't plausible, the actual AMOC is currently experiencing some problematic changes. Also, you can't outrun the cold or possibly stay warm at those temperatures, especially if you get wet.
It's too late for that. The storm is just going to get worse. It's going to turn into a massive blizzard with an eye in the center of it, just like a huge hurricane. Only the air is going to be so cold you could freeze to death in seconds.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. Science Schmience, Armageddon.
Japan's gone. Australia's wiped out. Half the world's population will be incinerated by the heat blast, and the rest will freeze to death from nuclear winter.
Don't want to close your eyes? Well, you probably should if you're looking for accurate science in this movie. In Armageddon, a crisis ensues when a huge asteroid is found to be on a direct trajectory with Earth, striking in 18 days. Firstly, how come no one detected this before it became a dire emergency? Asleep at the telescope, NASA?
Daddy, I'm onto something big here. I don't know what this is, but it looks like something's burning up there. Go get my phone book, will you? Get my phone book. Get those names of those guys from NASA.
In the film, the plan is to blow up the asteroid using a nuclear bomb. Astronomer Phil Plait pointed out that the energy needed to accomplish this would be equivalent to that emitted by the sun. He also pointed out that such a weapon would be far more dangerous than the asteroid itself, as following its use, you would now have a radioactive asteroid.
I know the President's chief scientific advisor. We were at MIT together. And in a situation like this, you really don't want to take the advice from a man who got a C- in astrophysics.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.